Hello, fans, and welcome to This Day in Baseball, where we're going to bring you a full radio broadcast of today's game. And before we do that, I just want to thank Classic Baseball Radio, and there's a link in the notes where you can check out their full channel. They have many great radio broadcasts. And while you're listening to today's game, if you want to check out much more about the game and the players, look on the links below, and you're going to see links to player pages, the date the game happened, the year it happened, and the play-by-play. Enjoy the game, and check out the links while you're watching the game, and please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that every time new content comes out, you're going to get that firsthand. And thank you again for checking out This Day in Baseball, and enjoy the game.
This for the New York Mets. Leading off and playing center field will be Billy Cowan. Batting second and playing second base, Bobby Klaus. Batting third and playing third base, Charlie Smith. Joe Christopher in right field. He'll be batting cleanup. Ron Swoboda in left field, batting fifth. Jim Hickman playing at first base, batting sixth. Roy McMillan at shortstop, batting seventh. Chris Canizero, the catcher, batting eighth. And Warren Spahn batting ninth. For the Dodgers, it'll be Maury Wills leading off and playing shortstop. Jim Gilliam in left field, batting second. Batting third and playing at first base, Wes Parker. Ron Fairley playing center field, batting fourth. Johnny Roseboro, the catcher, batting fifth. Jim Lefevre, batting sixth, playing second base. Al Ferrara playing in right field, batting seventh. Dick Tracewski playing at third base, batting in the eighth position. And Sandy Koufax, the pitcher, batting in the ninth position. The umpires for this ball game will be Ed Vargo at home plate, Chris Pellicrutis at first base, Paul Flyer at second base, Bill Jakowski will be at third base. And now here's Lindsay with another unusual fact from the Viceroy Hall of Records.
Well, here's what happened one 4th of July when the weather provided the fireworks. It was back in 1933 in Gallup, New Mexico. A game was held up because it was just too hot to play ball. Then 2 hours later, the same game was called off completely. Hot weather? No, sir, a snowstorm. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. About the weather, and now let's get away from the weather and find out whether you've tried Viceroy. Because when you do try them, you just gotta like them. You see, Viceroy is specifically designed to taste the way you'd like a filter cigarette to taste. Not too strong, like some brands that taste as if they didn't have a filter, and not too light, like others. You know the kind. They just don't seem to satisfy your taste. But Viceroy, not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the filter for the taste that's right.
Viceroy's got the taste that's right. Not too strong and not too light. The taste that's right.
Well, Lindsay, this is quite a day here and something going on that has never happened before in the history of baseball, so the Mets have another first. It's going to be Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale pitching for the first time in the doubleheader, first time in the history of the Dodgers, and this should mark something special on Father's Day. It's a good crowd at hand. The predictions that it might be one of the top crowds of the season. The bleachers are completely filled. Out of the far corners, still fans filling in the area out toward the far left field and right field areas in the upper deck. This ballpark holds right around 52,000 people. Giants and Dodgers had over 52,000 in a recent series this week. Of course, the top crowd in the major leagues this year was when the New York Mets played at Shea Stadium on Sunday. That day they drew 57,175 people. Now the Dodgers are taking the field. Dodgers currently in first place by 3 1/2 games over the Milwaukee Braves. In third place, Cincinnati, they trail by 4. And then San Francisco in fourth place, 5.5 games back. Dodgers have won 41 and lost 24. The Mets have won 21 and lost 43. This broadcast comes to you through the courtesy of Rheingold Breweries Incorporated, Brown & Williamson Tobacco Corporation, and the Shell Oil Company, and is authorized under radio rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets is prohibited. Well, the Mets also playing one of the unusual doubleheaders here in Los Angeles. The Dodgers scheduling mainly single ball games. They like to play night games on Saturday night, and of course the league rules prevent a doubleheader after a night game. The Dodgers playing a day game last Saturday, yesterday, as far as that's concerned. So Sandy Koufax, one of the top left-handers in the history of baseball, opposing the man who statistically is the top left-hand pitcher in the history of baseball, Warren Spahn. And now as this game is about to get underway, here is Lindsey Nelson.
Thank you very much, Ralph Conner, and hello again, everybody. As Billy Cowan steps in, we're set for a Father's Day doubleheader here at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. And what a doubleheader. 4 of the top pitchers in the history of this game scheduled to go today, and then the first one is Koufax against Spahn, and the second one, Drysdale against Larry. Here's the pitch to the right-hand batter, and it's low for a ball. Koufax, Drysdale, Spahn, and Larry have won a total of 761 Major League games in their combined careers. Billy Cowan is hitting 181. He has 1 home run and 3 runs batted in. And here's the pitch, and it's in for a called strike. Cowan is scheduled to be honored between games here today by a delegation from his hometown of Bakersfield, California. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. 1-2. Sandy Koufax so far this year has won 10 games and he has lost 3. Native of Brooklyn. He's 29 years of age now. And the pitch is low for a ball. A breaking ball. It's 2-2. Against the Mets this year, Koufax has won 2 and he's lost none. His lifetime record against the Mets, 11 and none. The Mets have never been able to beat Sandy Koufax. Here's the pitch, and it's swung on and foul back out of play. Don Drysdale, who will pitch the second game, has a lifetime record against the Mets of 16 and 1. So that Drysdale and Koufax combined have a lifetime record against the Mets of 27 wins and 1 loss. This is a 2-2 delivery. Swung on and foul back, so the count holds at 2-2. Bobby Klaus is waiting in the on-deck circle for the Mets. It was overcast all morning long, and it is still partially overcast here. The sun is trying to break through, but has not shone through in its full brilliance as yet. Now the pitch, swung on and foul back again as Billy Cowan continues to distribute the souvenirs around the ballpark here. As you know, the Mets played yesterday afternoon in San Francisco and then came on down following the conclusion of the game yesterday. Here's 2-2 pitch. Foul back again off the screen and out of play. Yesterday, the Giants sent Juan Marichal against the Mets. It was a 2-1 ball game. The Giants winning by a score of 2-1. Jack Fisher pitched a fine ball game for the Mets in a losing cause yesterday. So it's Marichal, Koufax, and Drysdale in order that the Mets are facing. Here's a swing and a looper going out to second base. Jim Lefebvre goes back, now comes in and makes the catch. Just a little looper, and Lefebvre went back a step on the outfield grass and then had to hustle and made the catch near the edge of the infield grass. Cowan pops up, one away, and Bobby Klaus is the batter. Klaus is hitting .206 with 1 home run and 8 runs batted in. In the lineup at second base against left-hander Sandy Koufax. It's likely that Chuck Hiller, who bats left, will be in the lineup against Drysdale in the second game. Here's a pitch, and it's in there for a strike. Yogi Berra on the coaching lines at first base for the New York Mets, and Don Hefner is the coach at third. Here's a pitch high. Much was said in the press room and on the field before the ball game, in good humor, about the fact that the Mets' record on Father's Day is not too good. It was last Father's Day that Jim Bunning of the Phillies pitched a perfect game against the Mets at Shea Stadium. Here's a pitch low, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. And as Ralph Cantor pointed out, this is the first time in the history of the Dodgers, first time in the history of the Major League careers of Koufax and Drysdale, if they ever have pitched a doubleheader together. Here's a swing and a foul ball back, and Roseberry gets rid of the mask. He is near the screen, and he makes the catch. Klaus has fouled out to the catcher. 2 away, and Charlie Smith is the batter coming up. Charlie's hitting .271. He has 8 home runs and 26 runs batted in. In 12 lifetime starts against the Mets, Sandy Koufax has pitched 99 innings and has allowed 11 runs for an earned run average of 1.0. Breaking ball, and it's low. 1-0. In his 2 starts this season, Koufax won by scores of 2-1 and 5-0. Pitch is low for a ball. Koufax beat Fisher 2-1 in a complete game appearance here. The first time the Mets came in this year. A swing and a miss. 2-1. And it was a game that was won by the Dodgers in the 9th inning. The Mets had a good shot at winning that one. Here's 2-1 pitch, and it swung on and missed. It's 2-2. In that game, the Mets had 4 hits off Koufax. Then when he beat Al Jackson 5-0 at Shea Stadium, the Mets had 5 hits. Here's 2-2 delivery. Swung on and missed, and it's the first strikeout for Sandy Koufax. The Mets are out in order with no runs, no hits, no errors, none left. The score at the end of a half inning is the Mets nothing and the Dodgers coming to bat. Are you one of those people who go to a German-American picnic and can't sing because you don't know the words? Then listen.
Willkommen alle in den Himmel is a song that gets sung over and over at German parties and picnics until the singers raise a fearful thirst. Then they change their tune. Beer here is the traditional German call for beer, and often it's Rheingold Extra Dry they call for. In fact, in New York City, where there are more Germans than in all of Heidelberg, more people drink Rheingold than any other beer. And Rheingold is going great in New Jersey, New England, and Pennsylvania, too. Why do German Americans like Rheingold? We don't know. But we must be doing something right.
Here at Dodger Stadium, fans are still coming in for this Father's Day doubleheader. And as Ralph pointed out, it's expected to be, in total, a big, big crowd. Maury Wills is coming up now to lead off for the Dodgers against Warren Spahn. Winningest left-hander in the history of this game of baseball. Spahn now with the pitch. And it is bunted up into the air and is coming back out of play as Canizero couldn't find it. He started moving up the third baseline. It came back near the edge of the warning track. Wills trying to bunt his way on. He's batting right, of course. He has a season's batting average so far this year of .278. He has 13 runs batted in. Wills has stolen 41 bases. Needs 3 hits for a total of 1,000 in his career. And this pitch is low for a ball. 1958, Wills was sold by the Dodger organization conditionally to the Detroit Tigers for $35,000. The Tigers sent him back. Here's the pitch swung on and laced into center field for a base hit. Billy Cowan up with it, plays it back, and Maury Wills is on at first. Well, anytime Maury Wills gets on base, that's bad news. Jim Gilliam's coming up. He's a switch hitter, batting right. Gilliam playing left field these days for the Dodgers. Gilliam is batting .340. He has 2 home runs and 8 runs batted in. All sorts of things have happened to the Dodgers this year that you might expect would affect their standing. It has not. They have remained on top in the National League race. Right now, Willie Davis is out with cartilage trouble. Umpire Ed Varga behind the plate is asking the public address announcer to ask that the fans down the left field corner take their coats and sweaters off the railing. Jim Gilliam, batting right-handed, as Warren Spahn is up and set now, and Maury Wills takes his lead at first. Jim Hickman holds against the runner, and Spahn throws over. There was a story in one of the morning papers here today in Los Angeles that revealed how the Dodger pitching staff would hold Wills on if they were playing against him. Here is a pitch low for a ball. And it took them in turn, pointing out what they do. And in essence, what they said was they would certainly not pitch in any rhythm. A fast delivery one time and a delivery another and a throw over now and then and that sort of thing. Spahn up and set, looking right at him. And the pitch is low for a ball. 2-0 now to Gilliam. It was Don Drysdale who said that if he were pitching against him, he'd forget him. Concentrate on the batter, because he said where the great damage is done is that you concentrate so much on Wills that you forget to concentrate on the hitter, and that gets you in trouble, and that certainly has been true of many pitchers in the National League. Here's a throw over, and Wills dives back in safely. He is well ahead of his pace of 1962, and he stole 104 bases. He has 41 to right now. 13 games ahead. Here is a swing and a ground ball is taken by Spahn. He goes to McMillan for the fourth, and no relay as Maury Wills was running on the pitch, and they played hit and run with Wills going. Jim Gilliam smashed the ball back to the mound. It was taken by Spahn. He played to McMillan. Wills was sliding in and got entangled with McMillan, so there was no relay. But now Gilliam becomes the base runner, and Wes Parker's coming up. He also is a switch hitter. First 3 men in the Dodger batting order today are switch hitters. Play went Spahn to McMillan on Maury Wills. Parker batting right-handed as Gilliam takes his lead, and here's the pitch. A breaking ball in for a called strike to the young first baseman, who is hitting .268. He has 2 home runs and 16 runs batted in. Parker attended the University of Southern California, but he did not play baseball there. Here's a pitch on a slow inside for a ball. His college baseball eligibility had already been exhausted before he got to Southern Cal, so although he attended there, he didn't play, and he was signed by a fellow who was his neighbor at the time, named Charlie Dressen, who was in the employ of the Dodgers. Gilliam takes his lead at first, and here's the pitch to Wes Parker. And it's swung on and foul back at first, given a run by Hickman, but this is going to go behind the dugout in the seats and out of play.
Parker went to a college that's about 40 miles from here called Claremont College, and they refer to it as a rich kids college. And Wes supposedly comes from a family that has quite a bit of money, and they sort of always refer to him as a rich kid. But he's a hard worker and got no money at all to sign a contract. They asked him whether he wanted to play ball or get money. He said play ball.
That's the way it worked out. Charlie Dressen told him, don't worry, he'd make it up later in salary. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, hit on the ground back to Spahn. He takes it and he goes to Klaus, who makes the fourth as the throw went a little awry. And Klaus was pulled off but got the foot back on the bag in time to force Gilliam. No relay, of course, as Parker becomes the base runner at first. He's exceedingly fast. So that play went for 1-4. It went from Spahn to Klaus that time. The other one went to McMillan. Now, Ron Fairley's up, hitting cleanup. He's hitting .289. He has 6 home runs and 38 runs batted in. Fairley did play baseball at Southern Cal and was signed for a bonus there. Parker takes his lead. Hickman holds against the runner at first base. Warren Spahn deals a pitch, and it's in there for a called strike. Warren Spahn, 44 years of age, has a record against the Dodgers this year of 1 win and 1 loss. Spahn's overall record for the season is 4 wins and 8 losses. He beat the Dodgers here on their opening night this season. Here's a throw over, and Wes Parker dives back in safely. Strike 1 count to Fairley at the plate. Fairley's playing center field these days with Willie Davis out of the lineup with the cartilage trouble. And the pitch is inside, thrown to first, not in time. On a short hop, it's taken by Hickman. Hickman playing first base with Cranepool out of the lineup against left-hand pitcher Sandy Koufax. Cranepool is also having a little back trouble these days, and he's also in something of a batting slump. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Swung on and fouled off into the Dodger dugout. 1-2. The Mets have an infield of Jim Hickman at first, Bobby Klaus at second, Roy McMillan at short, and Charlie Smith at third. Ron Swoboda is in left field, Billy Cowan is in center, and Joe Christopher is in right. Now Wes Parker takes his lead at first base. Pitch out. Nothing on. 2-2. Start of the morning, there were 24,000 tickets put on sale here at Dodger Stadium. Some box seats, some reserve seats, and mostly general admission seats. And they were being snapped up at a rapid pace. Here's a pitch low and away. It runs full now at 3-2 with 2 men out, and Wes Parker, the base runner, at first. Now the bleachers are completely filled here, and the upper deck is just about completely filled. There's still a few vacant seats down in the left field corner. Right field corner is completely filled up as far as the upper deck is concerned. Here's a throw over. Of course, there are some vacant field boxes, but they're just late arrivals because they're sold. They're sold on a season's basis. There are a couple of sections in the loge deck down in the right field corner and one in the left field corner that are not yet filled. Here's a throw over. It's not in time. We're in the bottom half of the first inning. There is no score yet with 2 men out and a runner at first. Spahn checks Parker and throws over again. Not in time. He's trying to keep a short holder knowing that he'll be going on the pitch with the count 3-2, 2 men out. Roseboro is on deck. And the runner goes, and there's a swing and a ground ball to first. Taken by Hickman near the bag. He jogs over it, takes the bag, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, 1 left, and the score at the end of an inning is Mets nothing and the Dodgers nothing. The Mets will be coming home Monday night, June 28th. That's a week from tomorrow night. And it'll be a twilight doubleheader against the Milwaukee Braves of Henry Aaron and Eddie Matthews and company that right now are in second place, 3.5 games behind these league-leading Dodgers. If you'd like to purchase tickets for any of the games of the Mets at Shea Stadium this year, the advance ticket window is open 7 days a week, and it's located at Entrance D at Shea Stadium. It's open from 8 to 6 on weekdays and on weekends from 9 to 5. There's a Met ticket office at the Pennsylvania station in the Long Island Railroad waiting room, and there's a Met ticket office at the Grand Central Terminal at the foot of the 42nd Street and Vanderbilt Avenue ramp. Those offices open weekdays 8 to 6 and Saturdays 8:30 to 4. There's a Met ticket office at Macy's in Huntington, Long Island, and the Walt Whitman Shopping Center open during store hours. Reservations can be made for box and reserve seats at any of the Howard Clothes stores, Child's Restaurants, or Calico Kitchens in the greater New York area. And tickets to all Met games may be ordered by mail. Reserve seats are $2.50 each. Box seats are $3.50 each. You simply add 25 cents to each order for handling and postage. Address your checks and money orders to Met Ticket Office, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. For the Mets, right fielder Joe Christopher is up to lead off. facing Sandy Koufax here in the top half of the second inning. First game of a Sunday doubleheader. Here's a pitch in there for a called strike. Started him off with a curveball. Sandy Koufax, a young man from Brooklyn who at one time relied entirely on a blazing fastball and then became a pitcher and developed one of the finest curveballs in the game. Here's a swinging up foul ball into the seats and out of play. 2-strike count to Christopher. Ron Swoboda is waiting on deck. You know, everywhere the Mets go now, there'll be 1 or 2 writers looking for Ron Swoboda to do a feature story on him. Here's a swinging a foul ball back and out of play. First game of a doubleheader in Cincinnati. The Chicago Cubs 8 and the Cincinnati Reds 5. A free-swinging affair. 8 innings completed the first game. There's a big change, and it's hit in the air to center field. Ron Fairley hangs right there, and he makes the catch. A big change of pace. There's one away, and that brings up Ron Swoboda. Little Abner is hitting .256. He has 13 home runs and 30 runs batted in. Final score of a first game in the American League is up on the message board now, as the Cleveland Indians shut out the Los Angeles Angels 5-0. Sam McDowell, the winner of that first game. Pitch to Swoboda is low and inside for a ball. Marcelino Lopez was the losing pitcher for the Angels, who were limited to 2 hits by Sam McDowell in his winning effort. Swing at him is 1-1 to Swoboda. Very little wind here at the ballpark at the moment. Flags are just drooping listlessly on the flagstaff in center field. Here's a pitch breaking down into the dirt low, dug out by John Roseberry. It's 2-1. A few days ago, the Mets had thought that they might be pitching Al Jackson in the second game of today's doubleheader, but yesterday they switched off to Frank Larry. Here's a pitch in for a called strike. It's 2-2. Jackson is scheduled tomorrow night. The Mets will be here tomorrow night and Tuesday night, continuing against the league-leading Dodgers. Payoff pitch. Swung on and missed. Struck him out. Second strikeout for Koufax. 2 away here in the top of the second. Jim Hickman's the batter. Jim's hitting .143. He has 3 home runs and 12 runs batted in. President George Weiss of the Mets joined the club in San Francisco, came down with them last night, and is here this afternoon, seated near the Mets dugout. Box seat. Here's a swing and a foul ball back and out of play. In the same area is Mrs. Casey Stengel. The Stengel home, of course, is in Glendale, here in the greater Los Angeles area, has been for many, many years. Strike 1 delivery to Hickman, and it is low for a ball, 1-1. No scores yet, and we're in the top half of the second inning. Here's a swing and a ground ball foul. Back at third, taken by Don Hefner. The end of 4 innings, first game of a doubleheader. The Pittsburgh Pirates 2 and the San Francisco Giants 1. Bob Friend against Bob Shaw. That one at Candlestick Park. Playing a doubleheader in the Astrodome as well. This afternoon, here is a swing and a foul ball back and out of play. First game in Houston at the end of an inning and a half. The Phillies nothing and the Houston Astros nothing. Jim Bunning against Larry Dierker. And there's a single game in Milwaukee going to the bottom of the 6th. The St. Louis Cardinals 5 and the Milwaukee Braves nothing. Bob Perky against LeMaster, Fisher in the 2nd, Necro in the 5th, Kelly in the 5th, Osinski in the 6th. Koufax looks in to get a sign from Roseboro with the Mets batting 2 men out, nobody on base in the top of the second. The 1-2 pitch swung on and lofted high down the left field line in foul territory now, chased over by third baseman Tracewski. Dick Tracewski puts it away. So the side is out in order. Koufax has retired 6 consecutive batters, no runs, no hits, no errors, none left. The score at the end of an inning and a half. The Mets nothing, and the Dodgers nothing. You know, it's very hard to sell sheet music in Jamaica. They make up songs whenever they need them, like this.
Having a party, eating rice and peas, dancing happily as you please. Charming lady with a very nice smile. Think I'll talk to her for a while. Think I'll talk to her for a while.
When Jamaicans get together for a party, the beat is calypso and the songs are made up on the spot.
The party was hilarious as it could be, but in the morning there was news for me. The Pennywood Romance wedding tune on his pipe. The smiling lady is now my wife. Smiling lady is now my wife.
And when the singer finds his throat a little dry, something refreshing will be improvised. Probably Rheingold beer. In New York City, where there are more different kinds of people than in any other city in the world, more people drink Rheingold Extra Dry than any other beer. And Rheingold is going great in New Jersey, New England, and Pennsylvania, too. Why do Jamaicans like Rheingold? We don't know, but we must be doing something right.
John Roseborough is up for the Dodgers here in the bottom of the second. Warren Spahn deals the first pitch, and it's low for a ball. The Dodger catcher is hitting .237. He has 3 home runs and 24 runs batted in. And here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. 1-1. The radio station here in Los Angeles that broadcasts the Dodger games has a Sunday morning show that originates from right here in the press box at Dodger Stadium. It goes on for an hour or so. All sorts of sports news and records. Here's the pitch low and away, and one of the guests this morning was Walter Austin, the manager of the Dodgers, who said he would like to rest Roseborough in the first game if he were absolutely assured that Jackson were not going to pitch the second game. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swung on it on the ground. A fair ball taken by Hickman behind the bag, and Hickman races over in time for the out. 1 away, and that brings up Jim Lefevre. Lefevre's hitting .242. He has 3 home runs and 20 runs batted in. Single game in Baltimore. The Orioles have defeated the Washington Senators on Father's Day 13-2. Wally Bucker got the win, and Koufax took the loss. Frank Howard had a homer, and so did Norm Seaborn in that game. Lefevre's a switch hitter batting right. Here's a swing and a high fly ball in the left field. Svoboda comes in, stops, starts again, goes in underneath. He's waiting, and he makes the catch. So there are 2 men out, nobody on base. A high fly ball, and Al Ferrara is the batter now. Ferrara is hitting .196. He has 1 home run and 7 runs batted in. In last week's 3-game set here between the Giants and the Dodgers, Ferrara was out with an injury at one point, and Wally Moon moved in to play left. In the final game of the set, in which Claude Osteen shut the Giants out with 1 hit, the Dodgers had an outfield of Gilliam in left, Fairley in center, and Moon in right. Pitch is inside low for a ball. And people have been saying right along since the start of the season that the Dodgers couldn't win with Tommy Davis out of the lineup. And then they said they certainly couldn't win with both of the Davis boys out of the lineup. But they're on top of 3.5 games, which proves that pitching is a big part of this game of baseball. And here is Spahn, 1-0 delivery. Swung on and fouled off, and the bat slips out of the hand of Ferrara and goes all the way over into the Dodger dugout. That's quite a way. The way you win baseball games is to get more runs and more hits than the other team. That's sort of basic. And if you take a look at the statistics sheet, you'll find that the Dodgers have a team batting average of .250. But their combined opponents have a combined batting average against them of .214. So that's the name of the game. 2 away, nobody on base here. Ferrara is a right-hand batter. Warren Spahn dips low into the windup and delivers the 1-1 pitch, and it's swung on and foul back out of play. 1-2 to the Dodger right fielder. For 33 home dates coming into today's game, the Dodgers have drawn 1,004,234. Their about 55,000 behind last year's attendance total this time. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Let up, and it's hit down the line and left, curving over, and it is going a foul ball into the seats down in the left field corner. Swoboda gave it a run. Dick Tracewski on deck for the Dodgers. Great pillars of white smoke have been appearing over the horizon that is presumed to be a brush fire in the far reaches of Chavez Ravine. Just about subsided now. Here's a pitch, and it's swung on it in the air to right, and it is Christopher with a long run still going, and he hauls it down, reaching over his head to pull it down for the out, and the side is out in order. No runs, no hits, nor is none left. Score at the end of 2 full innings is the Mets nothing and the Dodgers nothing. The day that you'll want to remember is the 24th of July, because that is Old Timers Day at Shea Stadium in New York, and 3 Hall of Famers are the latest to accept invitations to the Mets Old Timers Day on July 24th. Zach Wheat, Max Carey, and Ed Roush. The arrival yesterday of the OKs from this trio of all-time outfielders brings to 13 the total who have now accepted for the game. This year it reunites former New York Giants and Brooklyn Dodgers who led the league in various departments at one time or the other. Previous acceptances have come in from Roy Campanella, Van Lingle Mungo, Rube Marquardt, Babe Herman, Travis Jackson, Don Newcomb, Wes Westrom, Al Schumacher, Eddie Sankey, and Carl Erskine. So add to that now Zach Wheat, Max Carey, and Ed Roush, and make your plans to be present at Shea Stadium in New York on Old Timers Day, Saturday, July 24th. After the Old Timers game and the ceremonies attended there too, the Mets will meet the Philadelphia Phillies. We're going now to the top half of the 3rd inning, and coming in here is Ralph Kiner.
Thank you, Lindsay, and hi to everyone. Roy McMillan will lead off for the Mets here against Sandy Koufax. Sandy has retired his first 6 batters, picking up 2 strikeouts. Now pitching to his 7th. Roy, a right-hand batter, hitting at 246. And the left-hand pitcher, Koufax, in with a fastball that's called strike 1. Sandy appears to have a good fastball here today. He holds the record for strikeouts in daylight, 18. And the next pitch back is outside, a fastball, and 1 ball and 1 strike. And the 1-1 pitch, outside again, it's ball 2. Sandy has the record for strikeouts for a 9-inning ball game, both day and night. He did it against the Giants at night for 18, then against the Cubs in the daylight for 18. Now the 1-1 pitch, a foul ball. So the count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Koufax struck out 18 Giants in the Coliseum in a night ball game, which was won in the bottom half of the ninth by the Dodgers. He struck out 3 in the 9th inning to get the 18. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and the pitch back is a swing and a miss for strike 3. Koufax picking up his 3rd strikeout, getting a fastball by on a 2-2 count. 1 man away in the top of the 3rd, no score, and it brings up Chris Cannizzaro. Well, Chris finally broke through, and he came up with a run batted in against the Giants in yesterday's ball game. The only run the Mets scored off Juan Marichal. The first run they had scored off Marichal, going back to last year, a total of 32 2/3 innings before they broke the ice. Chris with 1 run batted in now, batting at 189, and he takes the fastball in the outside corner, strike 1. Dodgers have the only base hit in the ball game. That was picked up in the 1st inning when Maury Wills, the leadoff batter for the Dodgers, single to center field. Pitch back, a curve hit slowly down to shortstop. Maury Wills in and over to first base for the out. That'll make it 2 away for the Dodgers in the top of the 3rd. No score, and Warren Spahn will now bat for the first time. Batting 138 with 2 runs batted in. He has 4 hits and 29 times up. Left-hand batter against the left-hander, Sandy Koufax. Warren is the only left-hand batter in the lineup against Koufax. And he takes a strike as Koufax comes in. It's strike one. Well, the Cubs defeated Cincinnati in the first of their doubleheader, 8-5. The winning pitcher, Bob Buell, he had help from McDaniel and Abernathy. Losing pitcher was Sammy Ellis. 5 home runs in the ball game. A swing and a miss at strike two. For the Reds, Edwards, Harper, and Robinson had home runs. And for the Cubs, Santo with 2 on and Williams with 1 on. 2-strike pitch, a curveball, swung on and missed, strike 3. And Sandy Koufax now picking up his 4th strikeout. That retires his side. 1-2-3 all the way through the first 3 innings for Koufax. And the score at the end of 2 1/2, the Mets nothing, the Dodgers nothing. And now a word from Viceroy Cigarettes.
Viceroy's got the taste that's right, not too strong and not too light. The taste that's right.
You get the word? It's Viceroy, a cigarette that's specifically designed to taste the way you'd like a filter cigarette to taste. If you're a filter smoker, you've already discovered some brands taste too strong, as if they didn't even have a filter. And others taste too light. You know the kind. They never seem to satisfy your taste. But do you know about Viceroy? Viceroy is not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the filter for the taste that's right. When you try them, you'll agree. Viceroy's got the taste that's right.
Viceroy's got the taste that's right, not too strong and not too light. The taste that's right.
The Dodgers up in the bottom half of the third. No score, and the first man will be Dick Tracewski. He'll be followed by Sandy Koufax and then Maury Wells. Warren Spahn on the mound for the Mets, making his attempt at winning 361 in his major league career. He is tied for 6th in all-time wins, trying to get into that position all by himself. His first pitch is a called strike to Tracewski. Dick, a right-hand batter, hitting .227. And Spahn now back again. And he bounces one slowly over the pitching mound. Coming in is Bobby Klaus. He underhands to first base after making the catch, and he gets his man. Fairly routine play. The ball hit very slowly. A good high hop for Bobby. He just had to hurry the play. That brings up Sandy Koufax. Listen to the hand. Sandy's hand is not for his hitting prowess. Although he has had more hits this season than he has ever had in his major league career. He has a total of 9. Right-hand batter. And Koufax now swings and fouls the first pitch. It's strike 1. Ball going over the top and into the second deck and caught there by a fellow with a red baseball cap. Spahn into the windup and back again, and he's inside. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Koufax has been up 47 times this year with 9 base hits. He's batting .191, has driven in 2 runs, had 1 extra base hit. That was a 2-base hit. And the pitch back is a curve, a swing for strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. No score. 1 man out in the bottom half of the third. The first of 2. And Spahn now back again, and the pitch is hit foul over toward the Dodger dugout. Count holding at 1 ball and 2 strikes. All the stands have filled in out in the far left field areas. And we have a big crowd on hand here for Father's Day. It'll be somewhere around 50,000. 1-2 pitch is taken outside, so the count moves up to 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Dodgers were the only hit. Their first man up, Maury Wells, with a single to center field. 2-2 pitch, a swing and a miss and a curveball, and Warren Spahn picks up his first strikeout. That also is his second out. And we go to the top of the batting order, and Maury Wells will be coming in. Maury, 1 for 1. He's batting now at .281. Needs 2 more base hits to have 1,000 in his major league career. On a final score, the Twins scored 2 runs in the top of the ninth to defeat the Yankees 6-4. Worthington was the winning pitcher in relief. Tiefenauer, the loser, in relief. Jim Hall had a home run along with Killebrew for the Twins, and Roger Maris had one for the Yankees in the 7th with a man on. First pitch to Morey, a called strike. Pasquale was the starting pitcher for the Twins. He was relieved by Posnow. Then Worthington. Jim Cott finished up in the 9th. Mel Stottlemyre, the starting pitcher for the Yankees. Change up, hit slowly in the hole. A tough play from McMillan. Can he make it? There's a throw. It is not in time. Roy McMillan making a perfect play in the ball, but Maury Wills using the speed to beat it out. So Maury now only 1 hit away from 1,000. He is 2 for 2 in the ball game, and he is on at first base with 2 men away. And once again, the action starts. Maury with 41 stolen bases. He did not steal his first time up and was forced to second base on a hit-and-run play. Now Wills leading off at first. He has about a 5-step lead, and no throw there. The pitch to the plate is hit high in the air. Ron Swoboda running around to it. He calls for it, and he makes the play to retire the side. So it's no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left for the Dodgers in the bottom half of the 3rd. And the score at the end of 3, the Dodgers nothing, the Mets nothing. And here's a very sad French-Canadian song about a fellow who lost the key of his clarinet. Listen. We have a big crowd on hand here for Father's Day. It'll be somewhere around 50,000. 1-2 pitch is taken outside, so the count moves up to 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Dodgers were the only hit. Their first man up, Maury Wills, with a single to center field. 2-2 pitch, a swing and a miss and a curveball, and Warren Spahn picks up his first strikeout. That also is his second out. Then we go to the top of the batting order, and Maury Wills will be coming in. Maury 1 for 1. He's batting now at .281. Needs 2 more base hits to have 1,000 in his major league career. On a final score, the Twins scored 2 runs in the top of the 9th to defeat the Yankees 6-4. Worthington was the winning pitcher in relief. Tiefenauer, the loser, in relief. Jim Hall had a home run along with Killebrew for the Twins, and Roger Maris had one for the Yankees in the 7th with a man on. First pitch to Morey, a called strike. Pasquale was the starting pitcher for the Twins. He was relieved by Posnow. Then Worthington. Jim Cott finished up in the 9th. Mel Stottlemyre, the starting pitcher for the Yankees. Change up, hit slowly in the hole. A tough play from McMillan. Can he make it? There's a throw. It is not in time. McMillan making a perfect play in the ball, but Maury Wills using the speed to beat it out. So Maury now only 1 hit away from 1,000. He is 2 for 2 in the ball game, and he is on at first base with 2 men away. And once again, the action starts. Maury with 41 stolen bases. He did not steal his first time up and was forced to second base on a hit-and-run play. Now Wills leading off at first. He has about a 5-step lead. And no throw there. The pitch to the plate is hit high in the air. Ron Swoboda running around to it. He calls for it, and he makes the play to retire the side. So it's no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left for the Dodgers in the bottom half of the 3rd. And the score at the end of 3, the Dodgers nothing, the Mets nothing. And here's a very sad French-Canadian song about a fellow who lost the key of his clarinet. Listen.
J'ai perdu le dos de ma clarinette is a song with the kind of humor French Canadians love. But one song leads to another, and the verse that follows is no laughing matter. Grand Anticoup is what they'll sing as they reach for a beer, probably Rheingold Extra Dry. In fact, in New York City, where there are more different kinds of people than in any other city in the world, more people drink Rheingold than any other beer. And Rheingold is going great in New Jersey, New England, and Pennsylvania, too. Why do French Canadians like Rheingold? We don't know, but we must be doing something right.
So far in the game, 3 innings behind, and the score tied at 0-0. Dodgers with the 2 hits in the ball game, and Sandy Koufax all set to go to the top of the batting order. He retired his first 9 in order. Sandy picking up 4 strikeouts. Billy Cowan, the first man up for the Mets. He'll be followed by Bobby Krause and then Charlie Smith. Billy, after fouling off many pitches, popped to second base his first time up. And he hits the first pitch in the air in foul territory. It's playable, possibly, for Trzeski's over by the dugout. He can't make it as he goes down into the dugout. He comes out, he's okay. The ball hitting on top of the cement dugout, bouncing high in the air and then bouncing back on the field. Take a good try. Ball just going out of his reach as he went down into the dugout. Maury Wills now talking with Bill Jakowski, the third base umpire. Now Maury back to his shortstop position. Billy Cowan with a 1-strike count. Billy with 1 home run and 3 runs batted in this year for the Mets. And the first pitch back after the foul ball is too low. It's ball 1. Now a swing at a curveball. Strike 2. Sandy Koufax with a big curveball. He has that great fastball, has a good curve with it, and fine control. And back again to Cowan with a fastball. It's fouled away. Sandy taking the ball and rubbing the shine off. He has tremendously large hands, long fingers, longer than any I've seen. Now again, his pitch back, Koufax is fouled back. So Billy making Koufax work as he fouls the ball away. His first time up when Koufax pitched against the Mets in Shea Stadium, he fouled off 6 pitches before he finally popped to third. And once again, Koufax back to work. This time, a third ball is looked at. Strike 3. Strikeout number 5 for Koufax. And with 1 away in the top of the 4th and no score, the batter will be Bobby Krause. Bobby fouled out to the catcher's first time up. He's batting .205, a right-hand batter. 1 home run, 8 runs batted in. The first pitch to Krause is fouled away. A fastball at strike 1. Dodgers in their last game went over the 1 million mark for the first time this year. They have drawn 1,004,234 in 33 days. Curved by Koufax too low. The count 1 ball, 1 strike. Dodgers becoming the first club in the major leagues to go over the 1 million mark. Mets are right around the $750,000 mark with much less dates played. Pitch back is too high, a fastball. The count at 2 balls, 1 strike. Mets are drawn 719,942 in 25 dates. 8 less than the Dodgers. 2-1 pitch is fouled back, a fastball again. So the count moves up to 2-2. Balls, 2 strikes on Bobby Krause. The on-deck batter, Charlie Smith. Mets looking for their first hit. 1 man out in the top of the 4th. And And the next pitch by Koufax is high, a good fastball just above the letters. And the count fills out to 3-2. Koufax has retired his first 10 batters. Right now, 3-2 and Bobby Klaus. And the pitch. It is taken high, ball 4, and the Mets have their first base runner. So 1 year ago today, it was Jim Bunning who pitched a perfect no-hit, no-run game. That can't happen a year later as the Mets have a runner at first base. Charlie Smith, the batter. Charlie struck out swinging his first time up. He was the first strikeout victim for Sandy Koufax. That came in the first. Charlie batting .269 with 8 home runs and 26 runs batted in. And the runner goes. The pitch is fouled away. Hit and run play tried by the Mets, but the ball fouled off at strike 1. Strikeout on Charlie Smith. Koufax looks at first base and goes there with a little lob throw. A calling card throw. It's no play at all. Just sort of something to take off attention. Now Klaus again off, and the pitch to the plate is hit high in the air, in the infield. First baseman Wes Parker calling for it. Wes right on the line and into fair territory to make the catch. 2 men away as Klaus stays at first base, and it brings up Joe Christopher, who flied out to center field his first time up. Joe batting .263 with 2 home runs and 24 runs batted in. No score in this ball game. We're in the top of the 4th with 2 men out. Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale to be the pitchers for the Dodgers in the doubleheader, and for the Mets it'll be Spahn and Larry. Pitch to first base is just a little lob throw, a little toss over there, and again Klaus back with no trouble. Now Koufax sets again. And his pitch to the plate is a curveball. It's hit in the air to shallow right field. A long run by the right fielder, Al Ferrara, and he makes the catch. Every time is aside, the Mets get their first base runner, leaving them at first base. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 walk. And the score at the end of 3 1/2, the Mets nothing, the Dodgers nothing. Say, it's hard to imagine New York City without every kind of jazz from Dixieland to progressive. Fortunately, you don't have to. Listen.
That's Backstreet Rag, a uniquely American sound. It came up the Mississippi out of New Orleans with the Negro jazzmen who played it to the world. But they didn't stop with Dixieland and the blues. Little David's Fugue by John Lewis is a new sound that's part of a new generation. But whether it's the old jazz or the new, it's thirsty work for the musicians. And when they put down their instruments, they'll pick up a cold beer, often Rheingold extra dry. In fact, in New York City, where there are more kinds of jazz than in any other city in the world, more people drink Rheingold than any other beer. Why do so many people like Rheingold? We don't know, but we must be doing something right.
Wes Parker, the leadoff for the Dodgers in the bottom half of the 4th. No score in the ball game. Wes batting for the second time. And Warren Spahn, who has given up 2 hits, goes into the windup, and his first pitch is too low. It's ball 1. Warren gave up a base hit to Maury Wills in the first, and then Maury got the second one in the third. Parker batting at .266. He has 2 home runs and 16 runs batted in. One of the switch hitters in the Dodger lineup, and he swings and hits a 1 hopper to Charlie Smith at third. Charlie over to first base, and it's out number 1. So Spahn picks up his first out here in the bottom half of the 4th. It brings up Ron Fairley, who is playing in center field. 2 Davis boys out of action for the Dodgers right now. Tommy Davis possibly out for the season with a broken ankle. Willie Davis out with a fairly slight injury. He'll be back in, they expect, any day. Pitch to Ron Fairley by Spahn is outside. It's ball one. Ron, a left-hand batter, hitting .288. 6 home runs and 38 runs batted in. He leads the club in both departments. And Spahn now back with a changeup. It drops in. A perfect pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Warren taking plenty off that one. He held on to the string for a long time. Warren Spahn's changeup at times almost a blooper pitch. A la Rip Sewell or Bobo Newsom. They both threw high ones. Now the 1-1 delivery. A curveball topped out toward the mound. Spahn in to pick it up. He'll have to hurry. He gets there in time. Spahn taking a lot of time, and then he had to rush his throw to Jim Hickman for the second out. 2 men away in the bottom half of the fourth. It brings up the catcher, Johnny Roseboro. John was out in a fine play by Hickman his first time up. Roseboro batting .236, a left-hand batter. 3 home runs and 24 runs batted in. One of the home runs against the Mets. That was in the ball game that Drysdale won with a home run. Dodgers winning 2-1. That was against Warren Spahn. And Warren now into the windup. His pitch to Roseboro. Hit slowly down towards second base. Bobby Klaus over in front. He picks it up, goes to first base, and Warren Spahn gets the side out in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on, and the score at the end of 4, the Mets nothing, the Dodgers nothing. And once again, here's Lindsey Nelson.
Okay, Ralph, we'd like to call the attention of Met fans to some of the dates that are coming up. For instance, when the Mets come off this road trip, it'll be a week from tomorrow night, Monday night, June 28th, and it'll be a twilight doubleheader with the Mets and the Milwaukee Braves, led by Henry Aaron, Eddie Matthews, Joe Torre and company. And that will be Variety Club night. Yogi Berra, as honorary chairman, will kick off the drive to establish a Variety Children's Heart Hospital in the New York Medical College. Ethel Merman will entertain between games, and there'll be other entertainment that we'll be telling you about from time to time. Saturday, July 3rd, there'll be a night game between the Mets and the world champion, St. Louis Cardinals, and that will be Kiwanis Club night. Monday, July 5th, there'll be a holiday doubleheader between the Mets and the Chicago Cubs, led by Ernie Banks and Ron Santo. That'll be King Corn Day, and there'll be a drawing between games for valuable prizes. Then Friday, July 9th, the Mets will meet the Houston Astros in a night game, and that will be date night. Wives or dates accompanied by a male escort will be admitted to the general admission section for 50 cents. There'll be a Dixieland band and other entertainment. And Saturday, July 24th, as we were telling you a moment ago, will be Old Timers Day, and that will be before a game between the Mets and the Phillies. So, we'd like to mark down some of those dates for future reference. There'll be big days at Shea Stadium in New York. And the top of the 5th now, the Mets are coming up to face Sandy Koufax. The Mets do not have a hit off Koufax. He pitched a no-hitter against the Mets here in 1962. Sandy Koufax, left-hander, working the right-hand batter, Swoboda. Last time up, he struck him out. Ball is bunted back to the mound, and it's an easy play for Koufax. He lobs on in time. As Swoboda had an idea of bunting his way on, but instead he just bunted the ball right back to the mound. So there is one away. When you get to about this point on a no-hitter, then if you have a man who is adept at the art, you try perhaps to bunt your way on. Jim Hickman's up now, and he's been up one time and fouled out to third base. Last year, Koufax pitched a no-hitter against the Phillies. Here is the pitch, and it's in there for a called strike. No score in this game as yet. Mets have had only one base runner off Koufax, and that was Bobby Klaus, who drew a walk. Here is a pitch, and it's low for a ball, 1-1. Koufax has struck out 5 and walked 1. And here is the 1-1 delivery. Curveball, and it's hit deep to left center, way back. It is going, and this one has gone into the seats for a home run for Jim Hickman. A home run at Dodger Stadium, and that is something of an achievement. And there's a young fellow with a Met sign over his head, jumping up and down and bouncing around in joy down in the aisle. as Jim Hickman, with his 4th home run of this season, has put the Mets out in front by a score of 1-0. Hickman hit all 3 of his previous home runs at Wrigley Field in Chicago. One off Carol Kuntz, one off Bob Buell, and one off Lindy McDaniel. And now he has hit one off Koufax to put the Mets out in front by a score of 1-0. The first hit for the Mets off Koufax, coming with 1 out in the 5th. Now Roy McMillan swings and misses for strike 1. Not many home runs are hit at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, and Hickman leaned on that one and sent it into the left field bleachers between the 380 and 390 signs. Here's a swing and a foul ball, back and out of play. McMillan's been up one time and was a strikeout victim. First game of a Sunday doubleheader here at Dodger Stadium. And the pitch is outside for a ball. 1-2 now to Roy McMillan, batting number 7 in Casey Stengel's batting order. This is a 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball in there for a called strike for a good curveball. Strikeout number 6 for Koufax. This is the 12th season coming up at the Jones Beach Theater. It's going to be the best ever, so why don't you plan to go out and see Mardi Gras, Guy Lombardo's new musical spectacular at Jones Beach. Chris Canizero is up. And up one time, and he grounded out short to first. This pitch is high for a ball. Same umpiring crew that worked the doubleheader at Shea Stadium in New York between the Mets and Dodgers last Sunday. Here's a pitch high for a ball. 2-0 the count. And the scheduled umpire behind the plate in the second game will be Chris Belacutis, who worked behind the plate in the second game last Sunday. Koufax with a 2-0 pitch. And it's in there for a called strike. 2-1 now. Canizero yesterday drove in his first run of the season. Drove in McMillan, who had doubled. It was a single for Canizero, and it was the only Met run of the day off Marichal. Here is the pitch, high and away. 3-1 now to Canizero with Warren Spahn kneeling on deck. It was overcast most of the morning, and it is still somewhat. It is not bright and clear, but the sun is shining brightly enough to lighten things up. Here's a swing and a miss. Full count now, 3-2 to Canizero. When the Mets got here last night, it was just about as cool here in Los Angeles as it had been in San Francisco. A little cool and windy when the Mets landed at International Airport here in Los Angeles. Here's a payoff pitch. Swung on and fouled back. On a play, count holds full at 3-2. Usually when the Mets fly charter flights, they fly DC-6Bs or 7s. But because of circumstances, last night they flew a 720 jet charter down from San Francisco, as the airline happened to have it there due back here. Here's a payoff pitch. And it's low, and Canizero has drawn a walk on a fastball. So Canizero goes to first with 2 men out. And Warren Spahn's coming up. Spahn's been up one time and was a strikeout victim. Let's get the third base run of the game. The Mets are leading 1-0 here in the top half of the 5th inning. Koufax and Spahn dueling. Canizero leads, and here's the pitch. Swung out and missed. Bonnie taking a rip, and it's strike 1. This ballpark is very nearly filled. Fans are still coming in. Here's the pitch, and it's swung on and fouled out into the seats in the left field corner, out of play. We pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
WGY Schenectady, the voice of the Mets in the great Northeast.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy at Dodger Stadium, and here's the pitch to Spahn. It is swung on and missed, strikeout number 7 for Sandy Koufax in this game. Second time he struck out Spahn, but the Mets got a run on a hit. No errors and 1 left. And the score at the end of 4.5 innings is the Mets 1 and the Dodgers nothing. Now it's time for another unusual fact from the Viceroy Hall of Records. Today's story could be called a batter's nightmare. When Frank Chance was playing for Chicago, he reached base 5 times in 1 game. But Frank wasn't doing the hitting. He was hit with 5 pitch balls. And now let's turn to a more pleasant subject and talk about Viceroy. Viceroy has got the taste that's right. You know why? Because Viceroy is specifically designed to taste the way you'd like a filter cigarette to taste. Not too strong like some brands that taste as if they didn't have a filter, and not too light like some others. You know the kind. They just don't seem to satisfy your taste. But when you light up a Viceroy, you get the filter cigarette that's not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the filter for the taste that's right.
Viceroy's got the taste that's right. Not too strong and not too light. The taste that's right.
In the bottom half of the 5th inning, the Dodgers are scheduled to send up Jim Lefevre, Al Ferrara, and Dick Tracewski to face Warren Spahn. So far, the Dodgers have had 2 hits off Spahn, and both by leadoff man and captain Maury Wills. In the National League, in the first game of a doubleheader, the Cubs beat the Reds 8-5 as Buell got the win and Ellis took the loss, homers by Robinson, Santo, Harper, Edwards, and Williams. In the second game, it's Dick Ellsworth against Jim O'Toole. Right now, Lefevre's up, batting right, and here's a pitch high and away for a ball. Pirates are leading the Giants 2-1 through 6. Bob Friend against Bob Shaw, first game of a doubleheader. The end of 3.5 innings, Houston is leading Philadelphia 2-0. Jim Bunning against Larry Decker, first game of a doubleheader. Here's a big change, and it's in there for a called strike, 1-1. In a single game, the Cardinals 6 and the Milwaukee Braves 2 going to the 9th inning. Perky relieved by Woody Schick in the 8th. Lemaster, Fisher, Necro, Kelly, Osinski, and Odell from Milwaukee. Homers by Gagliano, Aaron, and Jones. There's a swing and a ground ball off the glove of Spahn, taken by McMillan and thrown on inside. So Lefevre has grounded out. That will bring up Ferrara. Ferrara's been up one time, and he flied out to right field. Spahn starts the motion. Pitch to the right-hand batter is low for a ball. Waiting on deck, Dick Tracewski. And this is a 1-0 pitch. Swung on and missed. It's 1-1. The arrangement of the decks here at Dodger Stadium is similar to that at Shea Stadium in New York. I suppose we should say the arrangement at Shea Stadium is similar to that at Dodger Stadium in that this stadium was built first. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Swung on and foul back at first. It's going into the seats and out of play. There is one feature here at Dodger Stadium that is unique, and that it is not present in any other ballpark in the country, and that is the dugout boxes that are available to the customers. They are at the same level as the dugout and extend right on around. They are actually below, partially below ground level. It's an idea that the Dodger management picked up from various stadia in Mexico, where bullfights are held, and so they decided to incorporate it here. As it's worked out very well. It is said that they are among the worst possible seats from which to see a ball game, because, of course, the dugout is a pretty bad place from which to see a ball game. But it's worked out in another manner we'll tell you about in a moment. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Ferrara, and it's inside low, 2-2. When Dodger Stadium was first opened, various people from the world of show business had seats behind the dugouts, movie stars and the like, and of course they got pestered a good deal by people wanting autographs. So now they've discovered that if they take the dugout boxes, that they are down there sort of isolated and can't be bothered. So it's worked out that way. Here's a 2-2 pitch, and it's low. The count goes full now to Al Ferraro with one man out. So a good deal of the movie stars and television stars now buy their season's boxes at the dugout level. Here's Spahn with a payoff pitch. Swung on and ripped foul. A line shot into the seats beyond the Dodger dugout. Took a lot off of that when Ferraro had his swing time perfectly, got around and pulled it, but he ripped it. Count holds full at 3-2. Now the payoff pitch. And he fouled it off, and he's still alive. That one came back. Nick Canizero first, and then Vargo. Got them both. Count continues 3-2. There are a few vacant seats at the loge level down in the right field corner beneath the stadium club, and that's about it as we look around the ballpark. Just about everything else is filled to overflowing. 3-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, and Spahn gets his second strikeout. And that will bring up Dick Tracewski. Ed Vargo indicated that it was chipped back into the glove of Canizero, and Ferrara turned around quickly to see if it had been dropped, and then asked Vargo, and he said, "No, you have struck out." Tracewski grounded out second to first in the third inning. Tracewski chokes up on the bat and goes into a crouch right up on top of the plate. Morris Bond starts the motion. Here's a swing and a ground ball deep in the hole. Backhanded by McMillan. The long throw, and in time now. Same play a moment ago. He didn't get Wills, but he got Tracewski this time. As Roy McMillan backhanded the ball and got enough on it for the out. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. Score at the end of 5 full innings is the Mets 1, the Dodgers nothing. Well, Jim Hickman's home run provided the margin so far. And you can find out all about Hickman and his baseball career in the 1965 revised edition of the Mets yearbook. There are up-to-date facts and figures on the Mets. Of course, from time to time during the course of a season, the personnel of a ball club changes, and for that reason, the yearbook is revised from time to time to try to get it up to date. There are lifetime records of the Mets, including the first-year men. Special sections on Yogi Berra and Warren Spahn, who's pitching here today. So, to get the new 1965 Met Yearbook, all you have to do is send 50 cents to Met Yearbook, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. Repeating the address, Met Yearbook, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. Ground crew has come out now to drag the infield after 5 innings. 5-inning totals in this game. For the Mets, 1 run on 1 hit and no errors. For the Dodgers, no runs on 2 hits and no errors. In the American League today, the first game of a doubleheader in New York, the Minnesota Twins beat the Yankees by a score of 6-4. Al Worthington, the winner, in relief. Bob Tiefenauer, the loser, in relief. Jimmy Hall had a homer. Harmon Killebrew had a homer. And Roger Maris had a homer. In the second game is Boswell against Downing. Cleveland shut out the Angels 5-0. Sam McDowell pitching a 2-hitter over Marcelino Lopez. In the second game, they're going to the bottom of the 5th. The Angels leading 1-0. Dean Chance against Lee Sang. Willie Smith homered in the second with nobody on for the Angel run. Going to the bottom of the 9th, it's Boston 3 and the Chicago White Sox 3. At the end of 5 innings, Detroit 12 and Kansas City 8. A slugfest. Here's a swing and a fly ball to center field. Fairley goes back and he makes the catch. Billy Cowan for the first out of the inning, and that brings up Bobby Cloud. Baltimore Orioles beat the Washington Senators 13-2 today. Wally Bacher over Copless. Howard and Seaburn had homers. Right here, the Mets are leading the Dodgers by a score of 1-0 in the second game today. Don Drysdale will go against Frank Larry. Here's a pitch. Inside low for a ball. 1-0. And the pitch is in for a called strike to Bobby Klaus. It's 1-1. Klaus became the first base runner off Koufax when he drew the walk in the top of the fourth. 1-1 delivery. Swung on and ripped to short. Taken there for the out by Maury Wills. Wills was ready to leap. He had gone into his crotch to leap and didn't have to as the line drive sank down to him. So there are 2 men out. Both the balls well hit. The one by Cowan and the one by Klaus. 2 away, and Charlie Smith coming up. Struck out swinging and popped out to first base. One of the Los Angeles papers today in the Sunday edition in the sports section had a Met cartoon on every page. It was titled "The Mets Are Back," each one of the cartoons. Pitch is low for a ball. 1-0. And the 1-0 pitch to Charlie Smith. Swung on and foul back out of play. Into the press stand. Down to 1-1. Koufax getting settled down on the mound before getting ready to work again. Now the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball, it's in there. 1-2. The Mets have 1 hit off Koufax, and it was a homer by Hickman. 1-2 pitch. Swung on and foul back into the seats out of play. Count holds it 1-2 to Charlie Smith. It's a colorful crowd here, as it usually is in Los Angeles. 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, and strikeout number 8 for Sandy Koufax. This ball game, as he gets the side in order, no runs, no hits, no errors, none love. Score at the end of 5.5 is the Mets 1 and the Dodgers nothing. If you're wondering what kind of a song goes with Soprastate and Salchichi, listen to this.
Facete Mameta is sure to be sung when Italian Americans get together, and spicy pizza rustica will be served. The inevitable result is a fiery thirst. This song brings on the beer, probably Rheingold. In New York City, where there are more Italians than in Naples, more people drink Rheingold Extra Dry than any other beer. And Rheingold is going great in New Jersey, New England, and Pennsylvania, too. Why do Italian Americans like Rheingold? We don't know, but we must be doing something right.
In the bottom half of the 7th inning, Sandy Koufax is up to lead off for the Dodgers. He's a right-hand batter. Warren Spahn dips into the motion, and here's the pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 1. Koufax struck out swinging in the bottom half of the 3rd. Spahn has struck out only 2. He struck out Koufax, and he struck out Ferrara. Now Spahn again with the pitch, and it is inside low. And Koufax started to go and laid off. It's 1-1 to him. Sandy Koufax, native of Brooklyn, attended the University of Cincinnati, where he was at that time primarily a basketball player. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. It's 1-2. Now Spahn with the 1-2 delivery. Screwball low and away, and it's 2-2. Maury Wills is waiting on deck. Wills is 2 for 2 in this game. The 2-2 pitch to Koufax. Swung on and line to first. Taken on a short hop by Hickman. He goes to the bag for the out. He's right off the end of the bat. A lot of English on it. Was spinning down to first. And Hickman took it on a short hop and then jogged to the bag for the out on assisted. Maury Wills is coming up. Base run up the middle for a base hit, leading off in the bottom of the first, and hit the ball into the hole at short. McMillan made a perfect play on it in the third inning, but just not in time to get Wills, who beat it out. The Dodgers have 2 hits off Spahn. Wills has them both. They have him, of course, turned around as switch hitter on the right side, which takes away a couple of steps from him. Against the left-hander Spahn. Here's the pitch, and it's bunted down to first base line. Hickman takes it, goes to the base path, and tags Maury Wills. Wills tried to bunt his way on, hoping to get that one over to where he could make Hickman play it far from the bag and beat him to it, but didn't get it exactly where he wanted. Hickman made the play in time, and there are 2 men out with Jim Gilliam coming up. Switch hitter batting right. He's hit into a forced play and flied to left so far. The long history of the Dodgers and their pitching staff. This is the first day that Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale ever combined to work a doubleheader. And the pitch to Gilliam is inside low for a ball. Actually, Drysdale was held over. He was in his regular turn, would have worked yesterday. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And it's low for a ball, 2-0. Instead, Nick Wilhite, with help from Ron Peronowski, shut out the Phils yesterday. We're in the bottom half of the 6th inning. First game of the doubleheader. Mets won, the Dodgers nothing. There's a breaking ball in there for a called strike. 2-1 to Jim Gilliam. You can tell how far a man goes back as a Dodger fan as to what he calls Gilliam. If you call him Junior, you're an old Dodger fan. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and lined down the left field on a foul ball. Got around, ripped it foul. 2-2 to count to Gilliam. 1956, Gilliam set the current National League record for assists by a second baseman in a game of 12. Yesterday, Chuck Hiller of the Mets had 11. Here's the 2-2 delivery. High for a ball, so the count runs full now at 3-2 to Jim Gilliam with 2 men out and nobody on base. Spahn reads the sign of Chris Canizero. This is a 3-2 pitch. Well, hot and looped out into left, and it's going to be in there for a base hit for Jim Gilliam. Charged by Cowan, he barehands the ball. Gilliam takes a wide turn, goes back to first as the throw comes in. It is the 3rd hit for the Dodgers off Warren Spahn. A looping single to left center, and it brings up Wes Parker, also a switch hitter batting right. It was a 3-2 pitch that Gilliam hit. Spahn has struck out 2 and walked none in this game. The Mets lead by a score of 1-0. The Dodger fans, and there are a lot of them here, start rhythmic applause. Pitch is high for a ball. Parker swings the bat as he waits. Gilliam leads at first. Hickman holds against the runner. And the 1-0 delivery is inside. Ron goes behind 2-0 now to Wes Parker. Ron Fairley waiting in the on-deck circle. This is the last scheduled doubleheader for the Dodgers here at Dodger Stadium this year. They don't play many doubleheaders. Then Gilliam takes his lead. 2-0 pitch, missed high and away. So now Spahn goes behind 3-0 to Parker with Fairley waiting around. It's a pleasantly comfortable afternoon. It isn't humid, it isn't hot. Now Spahn up and set. 3-0 pitch. And it's in there for a called strike. He was taking all the way at 3-1. Preston Gomez, the coach at third, looks into the dugout to get a sign to tell Parker whether he's free to swing away on this pitch. Manager Walter Austin up on the dugout steps, looking out onto the field. Ken Gilliam leads. And the pitch is high. He was taking it. It's ball four. It's Wes Parker to first with the first base on ball issued by Spahn. Canizero goes out to talk to him. Gilliam moves to second. First time today the Dodgers have had a runner as far as second base. Two men out, and Ron Fairley, the cleanup man, is the batter. He has grounded out to first base and grounded out pitcher to first so far. Fairley hitting .287 for the season with 6 homers and 38 runs batted in. So the Dodger fans are excited about this situation. The Mets are leading by a score of 1-0. Spahn checks runners first and second, and the pitch to the left-hand batter is hit into the air to left field, and Swoboda's going to catch it quick. And he sits down, gets up and goes by him. 1 run is scored, 2 runs have scored. Fairley holds at second, and the Dodgers lead by a score of 2-1. Second. First time today the Dodgers have had a runner as far as second base. 2 men out, and Ron Fairley, the cleanup man, is the batter. He has grounded out to first base and grounded out pitcher to first so far. Fairley hitting .287 for the season with 6 homers and 38 runs batted in. So the Dodger fans are excited about this situation. The Mets are leading by a score of 1-0. Spahn checks runners first and second, and the pitch to the left-hand batter is hit into the air to left field, and Swoboda's going to catch it quick. And he sits down, gets up and goes by him. 1 run is scored, 2 runs have scored. Fairley holds at second, and the Dodgers lead by a score of 2-1. That ball was hit in the air to left field between Swoboda and the line, and Ron came over and decided to play it on a hop, and then it took him out back to the other side. And trying to get to it, he slipped just for a moment and braked himself on his hands on the turf, and then chased it down. But by that time, with 2 men out, Gilliam had scored from second, Parker had scored from first, and Fairley was at second with a double. Dodgers lead 2-1. And now Roseborough is the batter, and here's the pitch to him, and it's low for a ball. So quickly, the Los Angeles Dodgers have taken the lead in this game. Here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Roseborough is nothing for 2 so far, and Spahn deals the pitch to him, hit on the ground, foul. Rolling back. A count of 1-1. Galen Cisco is throwing in the Met bullpen now. Galen Cisco is up and throwing. He would on Friday night in San Francisco, but not a lengthy stint. He worked 4 innings in San Francisco. 1-1 to count to Roseborough. And pitch is in there for a call, strike 2. 1-2 to the Dodger catcher. Ron Fairley takes a lead at second. And the 1-2 pitch is in there for a call, strike 3. Spahn strikes on Roseborough to retire the side. 3rd strikeout for Spahn. But the Dodgers got 2 runs on 2 hits and a walk, no errors, and 1 left. Score at the end of 6th inning. First game of doubleheader is the Dodgers 2 and the Mets 1. Bob Murphy will be along in just a moment to detail the play-by-play. But first, you know, Yetzi mode isn't something you roll or sail. You sing it like this.
Get your song that gets sung over and over at Polish parties and picnics until the singers raved a fearful thirst. Then they changed their tune. Piwo is the traditional Polish call for beer, and often it's Rheingold Extra Dry they call for. In fact, in New York City, where there are more Poles than in all of Świdnica, more people drink Rheingold than any other beer. And Rheingold is going great in New Jersey, New England, and Pennsylvania, too. Why do Polish Americans like Rheingold? We don't know, but we must be doing something right.
In the seventh inning, Joe Christopher will be up against Sandy Koufax. The Mets now have fallen a run behind. Sandy has allowed just one hit. That was Jim Hickman's long home run to left center up in the bleachers. Now Koufax into his windup. He pitched to Christopher a swing and a miss, strike one. Outside and high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Outfield a stride toward left against Christopher. A check swing and a foul ball back up into the crowd, out of play. Pete Ward's 10th inning home run at Comiskey Park gave the White Sox, they come from behind, a 4-3 win over the Red Sox. So the White Sox stay a half game behind first place Minnesota. Eddie Fisher, who is having a fabulous year in relief, the winning pitcher. He came out in the 8th inning. And Dick Raditz gave up that game-winning home run to Pete Ward. So both the Twins and the White Sox won the first game of doubleheaders today. Taken high, it's 2-2. Minnesota, with 2 runs in the 9th inning, beat the Yankees 6-4. Here's the windup, 2-2 delivery, fouled off the mask of Johnny Roseboro. The Dodgers going out in front on a bloop single, a walk, and a solid 2-base hit to left by Ron Fairley. Now Koufax has his sign from Roseboro. The 2-2 delivery is under the knees, ball 3. So the string is out, 3-2 on Christopher. Joe has flied to center, flied to right. Ron Swoboda waiting on deck, and then Jim Hickman. 3-2 delivery. Foul fly veering off toward the crowd over behind the visiting dugout. Sandy takes his sign. It's 3-2. Here's the payoff delivery. And it's a foul fly again, hit down the right field line, running hard for the Ferrara, but it's out of his reach. Ball landing by the tarp, which is rolled up by the field boxes down the right field line. Crowd still assembling. Just about every seat taken now. Crowd today here at Dodger Stadium will be in the neighborhood of 50,000. Now Koufax out of his windup. Here's the pitch. And again it's fouled off by Joe back into the crowd. So the duel continues between Sandy Koufax and Joe Christopher. Dodgers have an opportunity of gaining ground because Cincinnati lost the first game of a doubleheader to Chicago today. A high fly ball hit the left center field. Moving in is Ron Fairley. He's there, and he makes the catch. Fairley takes the fly, which was hit reasonably deep to left center. Right here we pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
WGY is Schenectady, the voice of the Mets in the great Northeast.
Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner from Dodger Stadium. The Mets sitting in the seventh inning and trailing 2-1. Ron Swoboda a swing and a miss on a high hard one, strike one. St. Louis leading the Braves 6-2 going to the last of the ninth inning in Milwaukee. The Braves in second place, 3.5 games back. A swing and a miss, strike two. Koufax winding the two-strike pitch. Slow curve just outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ron has been struck out, tried to bunt his way on, and been thrown out, nothing for 2. Batting at .253. The 1-2 delivery. Swing and a miss, he struck him out. He threw him an off-speed breaking pitch. That's the 9th out for Sandy Koufax. One more, and he goes into double figures for the 68th time in his career. Now the hitter is Jim Hickman, and Jim puts New York out in front. With a home run over the 390-foot mark up into the bleachers in left center field in the 5th inning. Now the pitcher on the way, a high fly ball into center field. Under the ball waiting is Ron Fairley, and he puts it away the side is out. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. 7th inning stretch time for the Dodger fans. At the end of 6.5 the score. The Dodgers 2 and the Mets 1. And now it's time for another unusual fact from the Viceroy Hall of Records. In 1922, the Chicago Cubs and the Philadelphia Phils played one of the wildest ball games you'll ever hear about. They almost needed a policeman to direct traffic at home plate. By the end of the game, Chicago had scored 23 runs. But get this, they lost. That's right, because the Phillies scored 26. And if you want to bring home the taste that's right in filter smoking, it's Viceroy. You see, Viceroy is specifically designed to taste the way you'd like a filter cigarette to taste. Viceroy is not too strong, like some brands that taste as if they didn't have a filter. And not too light like some others. You know the kind. They just don't seem to satisfy your taste. But Viceroy's not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the filter for the taste that's right.
Viceroy's got the taste that's right. Not too strong and not too light. The taste that's right.
The Dodgers' 7th inning with second baseman Jim Lefebvre coming up against Warren Spahn. Dodgers 2 runs, 4 hits. The Mets 1 run, 1 hit. Yesterday it was Jack Fisher dueling Juan Marichal. Here it's Spahn against Koufax. A swing and a miss on a breaking ball, strike 1. Now Spahn has his sign from Canizero. Pitch thrown is outside and high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now Spahn sighting in on his target. Delivers to Lefebvre, a drive in the air to center field. Back goes Billy Cowan. He's there, and he makes the catch. Billy Cowan drifting back to take a hard-hit line drive, 1 down. This could be a very big ball game for the Dodgers, with Cincinnati already beaten and Milwaukee losing to St. Louis. One out and nobody on. The batter is Al Ferrara. Al has flied to right, been struck out, nothing for 2. Bounced foul on the ground, right straight back, strike one. A bloop single, a walk, and a solid double hit deep to left, driving 2 runs in for the Dodgers as they went in front in the 6th inning. Inside the high, 1 ball, 1 strike on Al Ferrara. Tommy Davis, Willie Davis, Lou Johnson, and Wally Moon are all sidelined at the moment. Here's the 1-1 delivery. Hit foul down the third baseline, no play. A changeup, he got too far out in front. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Willie Davis was hurt when he collided with Hawk Taylor in a play at first base at Shea Stadium last weekend. He'll probably be out about another week. They really hit together hard. Taylor was flying first in the game, and he had fielded a slow grounder and raced to the bag to beat Willie Davis. High fly hit the right center. Moving in slowly is Joe Christopher, drawing a beat on it. He has it, 2 men down. 2 outs, nobody on. Remember, Viceroy's not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the filter for the taste that's right. We'll bring you right up to date on the scores of all the other ball games at the end of the inning. Dick Trzeski is 0 for 2, and he was robbed his last time up by McMillan. Right-hand batter chokes up on the handle of the bat. 1-1 delivery, laced on a line toward right center. Christopher running for it, dives, rolls over, makes the catch. Diving, somersaulting grab by Joe Christopher of a hard-hitting line drive by Dick Trzeski. And there's the play of the ball game by far and away. Beautiful play by Joe Christopher to take a hit away from Dick Trzeski, and had he missed it, had the dive not been in time, that ball would have been rolling back toward the wall in right center field. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left. Now 7 complete. The Dodgers 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors. New York 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. First game of a doubleheader in Cincinnati. The Cubs beat the Reds 8-5. Buell was the winner and Ellis the loser. Ron Santo and Billy Williams homered for Chicago. Frank Robinson, Tommy Harper, and Johnny Edwards for the Reds. The second game with O'Toole on the mound, the Reds lead 2-0 after 2 innings. Pittsburgh and the Giants are tied 2-2 going to the last of the 9th inning in the first game at San Francisco. Friend against Shaw. Houston 2, Philadelphia 0 at the end of 6 in the Astrodome. First game of a doubleheader, bunting for the Phillies. Ron Taylor has relieved Larry Dierker in the 7th inning for the Astros. It's over now in Milwaukee. The Cardinals beat the Braves 6-4. Berkey was the winner, Lemaster the loser. Home runs for St. Louis, Gagliano 2 on, Aaron and Jones connecting for the Braves. Minnesota beat the Yankees 6-4 in the first game, and they got a run in the first inning in the second game, Boswell against Downing. Cleveland blanked the Angels 5-0, a 2-hitter for Sam McDowell. The second game is tied 1-1 at the end of 6.5 innings. The White Sox with a home run in the 10th by Pete Ward beat the Red Sox 4-3 in the first game. Second game not underway. They've got a wild one going in Detroit. The Tigers lead the A's 12-8 at the end of 6.5. A game the A's led 8-0 after an inning and a half. Roy McMillan batting in the 8th inning, and the fastball is over, strike 1. And Baltimore in a single game beat Washington 13-2, a 5-hitter for Wally Funker. Now the pitch on the way, off the outside corner. Larry Bernard is now warming up in the Mets bullpen as the Mets get down toward the tail end of the batting order, trailing by a run against Andy Koufax. Foul ball. Slam back toward the crowd. It's 1-2 on Max. Koufax has walked 2, struck out 9. Allowed 1 run, 1 hit. The 1 hit was Hickman's home run. Taken high, it's 2-2. Philly right right-handed pinch hitter Casey has available is Danny Napoleon. With Koufax pitching the ball game, all of the other right-handers are in the lineup. A swing and a miss, he struck him out. That's the third time Sandy has found Roy McMillan, and it's his 10th strikeout of the game. So now, for the 68th time, Koufax has gone into double figures in strikeouts, a major league record. Chris Canizero, the batter. Chris has bounced to short to run a walk. Now Sandy winding down Hemsley's pitch, and it's over at the knees for a called strike. On the message board now, they are providing the information that's 10 strikeouts for Sandy Koufax, and that this is the 68th time he has found in double figures. High pop-up down the right field line. Ferrara is coming in. Out goes Lefebvre, and Lefebvre takes it near the line in fair territory. Now Warren Spahn is the scheduled hitter, but Danny Napoleon is down around the bat rack. Danny, the only right-hander that Casey has available in his dugout. And now here comes Napoleon out to bat for Spahn. Dan Napoleon hitting for Warren Spahn. Spahn is out of the ball game then. Hit brilliantly once again. In 7 innings, he allowed 2 runs, gave up just 4 hits. Foul ball back. And pitching duels like these, 1 walk can really kill you. Yesterday, Jack Fisher walked 3 men in the game against Marichal. The first 2 men that he walked eventually came in to score as the Giants won the ball game 2-1. Today, Spahn walked only 1 man. That was Parker in the 6th inning, and Parker came around to score the Dodgers' 2nd run. Pitch to Napoleon, a swing and a miss, strike 2. A swing and a miss. He struck him out. So Koufax takes Napoleon out on 3 pitches. He threw the fastball right by. Sandy's 11th strikeout. He is really fast today. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left. At the end of 7 1/2, the Dodgers 2 and the Mets 1. If somebody offers you a Sapico, don't eat it. Dance it like this.
Sapico is spirited and lively. It makes Greek Americans feel like dancing, and dance they do, until they work up a fearful thirst. Then they call for different music. Nina Nai Nai is music a Greek drinks to. You'll sit down, call for a beer, probably Rheingold Extra Dry. In fact, in New York City, where there are more Greeks than in all of Sparta, more people drink Rheingold than any other beer. And Rheingold is going great in New Jersey, New England, and Pennsylvania, too. Why do Greek Americans like Rheingold? We don't know, but we must be doing something right.
Last of the 8th inning, Larry Bernard in relief now for New York. Splendid job by Warren Spahn. Spahn in 7 innings allowed 2 runs, just 4 hits. Gave up 1 walk. That was to Parker, and Parker, one of the fastest of all the Dodgers, raced from first base around to score. on Ron Fairley's double down the left field line, and that was the Dodgers' second run. Spahn struck out 3. Spahny's pitching has been getting stronger as the season has gone along. The Mets have not been scoring runs, and Spahny hasn't been winning. But he has not been hit nearly as hard the last 3 weeks as he was for one little stretch there when he was bound for a number of home runs. Sandy Koufax will lead off against Larry Bernard in the last half of the 8th. So Larry Bernard will be facing Sandy Koufax, Maury Wills, and Jim Gilliam in the last of the 8th inning. The Mets in the 9th inning will have the top of the batting order coming up. Danny Napoleon, the third out, in the top of the 8th inning, was batting for Warren Spahn. So the huge crowd here at Dodger Stadium gives Sandy a warm response as he comes on to hit. Larry Bernard in relief for Larry, his 23rd appearance. Here's the windup and the pitch to Sandy. A little bit outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Larry was the winning pitcher in the only game the Mets have won on this road trip, and that was the game they beat Maloney in Cincinnati. A line drive caught by Bobby Klaus. Leaping grab by Bobby to take a liner hit by Koufax. Maury Wills coming on to hit. Maury has 2 for 3, has 2 of the 4 Dodger hits. Maury tried to punt for a 3rd hit in the 6th inning, but was taken out unassisted by Jim Hickman. Bernard into his windup now, delivers a Baltimore chop off the plate. It's going to be tough. Bernard racing to cover, out at first base. Larry got there in time to beat Maury Wills, 2 men down. On Monday, June 28th, when the Mets return home for that doubleheader with the Braves, that also is the date. Larry Bernard and his associates will be opening their Eagle Athletic Camp for boys and girls in Huntington, Long Island. They'll have a $250,000 facility opening up, and we certainly want to wish them all the luck in the world. Now Junior Gilliam batting. Gilliam 1 hit in 3 trips. He got a bat-handle blue pit into short left, just beyond the reach of McMillan, with 1 out in the 6th inning, and that led to the 2 Dodger runs. Ball 1, it's inside. Because after Gilliam got the Texas leaguer, Spahn walked Wes Parker, and Ron Fairley doubled both men home. Strike on the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike on Gilliam. Junior hitting .347. What a job he's done. 1-1 delivery. A foul ball back up against the screen. No play. With Spahn and Koufax on the mound, this ball game is in the last of the 8th inning and has been going only 1 hour and 49 minutes. Delivers 1 and 2, and it's hit high into the air. A fly ball to short left. Swoboda comes in, McMillan goes out. As Swoboda makes the catch, he falls down, but he hangs on to it. Brown was a little uncertain as to whether McMillan had stepped away to let him make the play. Ever a dull moment. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left. So at the end of 8 innings, it's the Dodgers 2 and the Mets 1. You know, sometimes it's hard to believe that so many different kinds of people can agree on one thing. But they have. They've made Rheingold Extra Dry New York City's largest selling beer. Hamilton will put John Kennedy at third base for the Dodgers as we go to the ninth inning. He's quite a glove match. Let's return home a week from Monday for the twin bill with the Braves. Tickets are on sale 7 days a week at the advanced sale window at Entrance D at Shea Stadium. In Manhattan, in the Long Island Railroad waiting room at Penn Station at Grand Central Terminal. The ticket window is at the foot of the 42nd Street and Vanderbilt Avenue ramp. On Long Island, tickets are on sale to Mets home games during the regular store hours at Macy's in the Walt Whitman Shopping Center in Huntington, Long Island. Leading off as we go to the ninth inning, the Mets desperately in need of a run. Billy will be honored between games of this doubleheader by friends who have come down from Bakersfield, California. And he pops it up. It's playable outside third. Getting under it is John Kennedy in foul territory. He takes it, and Cowan is out on one pitch. Sandy Koufax bidding for his 11th win of the year against just 3 losses. If he wins it, it'll be 5 straight. Last time he lost a ball game, he lost to the Cardinals 2-1 in late May. One out and nobody on. Bobby Klaus batting. Bluffs at a bunt and the fastball is in. Strike one call. The only hit off Koufax was Jim Hickman's home run in the 5th inning. One ball, one strike. The 1-1 delivery. It's over. Bobby checking on the swing. 1 ball and 2 strikes. We're in the 9th inning. First game of 2. The second game is Drysdale against Larry. What a pitching duel this has been. Now the 1-2 delivery is swinging a miss. Striking out. Koufax taking out top for the curveball. And that's Sandy's 12th strikeout of the game. That's down to their final out of the 9th inning, trailing 2-1. Charlie Smith, the batter. Charlie has been struck out twice, popped up once. Up by Koufax. In comes his pitch. Fastball at the letters. Ball 1. Foul ball back to the screen. 1 ball and 1 strike. It could be a very profitable day for the Dodgers because the Braves in second place at the start of the day, 3.5 games back, played a single game with the Cardinals and lost it. St. Louis winning 6-4. Third place Cincinnati dropped the first game of a doubleheader to Chicago. A foul ball whacked back upstairs, and now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Only 5 men have been left on base in the ball game. Dodgers have left 3, the Mets have left 2. The 1-2 delivery. It's hit high in the air, a fly ball to short center. Coming in is Ron Fairley. He slows up. It should be a ball game. Makes the catch and the Dodgers win it. Koufax retired the last 13 hitters in posting his 11th win of the year against just 3 losses. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left in the 9th. Final score, the Dodgers 2 and the Mets 1, and we'll be back with a recap in just a moment. Say, do you drive a car? Then here's some helpful information for you.
A driving tip from Shell. How safe are your brakes? Why not test them right now while you're driving?
You can in this easy on-the-spot road test, courtesy of your local Shell dealer.
First, make sure you've got a clear road with nobody behind you. Repeat, nobody behind you. Drive at a good clip and apply your brakes with a nice, firm pressure. Car come to an even stop,